You, I think, are the
This is
final
a.
caller of the day.
Oh, now I can say, oh my God, I am. This is A Square. How are you?
A squared. Long time no hear from. How are you?
Long time listening to the coverage always, and just completely horrified about our prospects. If you had told me 5 or 6 months ago that this would happen, it's just unfathomable. And Sam, you and I have been talking for over 20 years, on and off. About yes, I know. When that woman called and said she had a baby and he's going to college, I'm like, oh my God.
I know. I did too. I'm in the same boat.
So I just, what you and I have been talking about how incompetent the Democrats have been. I mean, going back to even before Bush v. Gore, right? And so here we are. And I think that I guess I'm in a way, you're not surprised that they're handling this so poorly. I am not as I just don't necessarily think that the way that we've handled this as Democrats so publicly is necessarily the best, has been the best option for us. I mean, I think that the media is always going to latch on to the dysfunction of the Democrats as a narrative, right? And so here we are again. I understand the argument that we have to put some type of pressure to try to get the candidate that can drive turnout. I agree with you, Emma, 100% there. And I hear your passion and your fear, but I'm also very concerned that this is a very risky strategy. Kamala is, yes, she's black, but she's not Obama. Obama was a sui generis character. And I just don't, the argument that the reason or a major factor for the Democrats winning the last two elections was because we had a black person on the ticket. That makes me a little bit nervous also because the independents are mostly disaffected Republicans. So there's going to be a base of racism there. And more than anecdotally, we know that Latino men and some of the women that will follow them will not vote for women altogether. And then for a black woman. But before you answer, let me just say this.
Yeah.
I think that if we take the risk, we have to go into it clear-eyed, like Matt said. Can she be the best of both options? Perhaps. But she can also drive down turnout with a group of voters that we need, because we all agree that the difference here is the independents and the youth vote.
Okay.
So that's it.
So
because everybody else is stuck.
I don't think I said that. What did you say I said about the of black people being on the ticket?
Last two presidential.
Yeah, I didn't say that Democrats can't win without a. I forget. I think that I was just saying
that is dispositive of the idea that
they can't win. I think that I don't really know. Can I ask what you're basing this on? Because the data has shown that there's actually fairly significant upside for Kamala Harris, and she's outperforming Biden. And the problem is that I agree with you that it's depressing, right? And we have some tough options, but we're between two options here. Two options.
Two bad options.
Two bad options. Sure, agreed. I wish we had this happen a conversation a year ago. But we have two bad options, and there's one option that has more upside, and we know that based on polling, and we know that just based on, I don't know, in my view, an enthusiasm that one could generate, specifically if we're refocusing the election on abortion, which was which was exactly why the Democrats did so well, flying in the face of traditional fundamentals in midterm election cycles in the 2022 race. So she can campaign, she can articulate the issue of abortion, and that the problem is that
Biden's
with
not
your-
viable. He's inert.
And with your argument is just that you see that people want to vote for Democrats, and generic Democrat does well. People have a problem with voting for Biden for a second term. They feel uneasy and don't want the presidency, which people see as like the leader of the country, and see it, maybe differently than we would as Democrats or as progressives. They don't feel comfortable voting for him because of his age and his cognitive decline. So that's the argument for her, is that this is the worst it's going to get. She would be an upside pick based on all the data.
It'd be one thing if he was holding on to a slight lead or something. He's getting absolutely walloped, and he has no capacity to turn it around because he is sundowning.
Let me and here's a counter argument to the motivation of racists. I think one of the things that and she doesn't have Obama's political skills. I mean, I think, and she's
not even close.
No, I mean, I don't know who does, frankly, in terms of that.
Yeah.
I mean, but here is my counter argument. It's a theory. I don't know if it works or not, but I think that it is one thing for Trump to get up there and motivate racists by saying he's going to do the dirty work for racists, which is I'm going to be the one up there, being racist. You don't have to. You can get that effect through me. But I do think that there are people on the margin, and the people you're talking about,
Yes,
who they may feel a little racist. And they also may feel like maybe that's not something I want to admit to myself in some ways. And so I think the opportunity to vote for a black person is a way for them to prove to themselves, almost in the same way that having...
They did with Obama?
Well, they did with Obama, but by having, Tim Scott encourages Republicans to say, like, I'm not racist. I support Tim Scott.
yeah.
I don't think we can fully grasp the way that the minds of some of these people work, and that it sounds counterintuitive, but that they do want to prove to themselves that they would vote for a black person. I think a youth turnout would also be better. I mean,
that's
yes,
the numbers.
That would be it.
This is a turnout game, right? It's a turnout game.
Yeah, that would be it. If she can drive them, Emma, and this is what I'm saying, because she has, once the campaign of Kamala Harris starts, it's going to be the same crap that we've gotten from the New York Times and the corporate media, right?
What do you mean by that?
It's 4 months. It's only 4 months. And so less at this point. And what's going to drive them is their antipathy for Trump.
And the Republicans, which is extremely high, as reflected in the numbers. And yeah, she's not Obama, like as Sam said. Who could be? I mean, he's one of the greatest orators in the
He would still be president if we didn't have term limits.
100%. And he would be beating Trump by insane figures right now. But she is not a good stump speaker. I don't think she's an inspiring podium speaker. But I do think she does have some strengths.
Far from it.
Far from it. It's actually
she has shown like when you see her when she did the hearings as a prosecutor, she was fantastic. In corporate, we say sometimes people rise to the level of their incompetence.
Right,
I have to say this VP job for her has not been great.
Well, there were reports that Biden's team has sidelined her, and she has been falling on deaf ears, some internal dissension about Gaza. She's a bad speaker at the podium, like not inspiring, 100%. She is decent in hand-to-hand combat, meaning when she's going back and forth, what you're saying, she has that prosecutorial background. So if she were to debate Trump, I think it could be a good actually look for the Democrats. And my other thing about her that is being underestimated, she's a goofball. And she has a little bit of that George W. Bush quality on for Democrats. I'm not joking. She's kind of goofy, and from a woman's perspective, I'm just trying to bring it in. She's the kind of woman I'd want to have a drink with. Like,
And-
she seems fun, and I don't know how that plays, but I think in an interview setting, it actually comes out kind of well, comes off kind of good. And this is politics outside of it, just appealing to people.
And A Squared, the last thing I would say is, like, in those first 3.5 months, how many months would you say would be dominated with the Republicans? I mean, you know how they'll run against her. They cannot help themselves.
Yes.
And I think honestly, like, that will help her when they get out there and start calling her, DEI hire. I think that's going to motivate a lot of people to be like, wait a second, this is, it's going to expose the worst parts of the Republican Party. Now, I will say this, where if what Trump is planning for the RNC is, accurate and they're able to execute this unity come together, I am skeptical as to their ability to execute this. But they really want, they want to try and capitalize on this in a way that appeals to normal American people.
Independent, right?
Yeah, I mean, just not people who are going to be frothing at the mouth about it. They put the word out, and people, have quieted down a little bit. I imagine we're not going to hear the same sort of rhetoric that we might have anticipated, 2 days ago from all the usual suspects. But they're not going to be able to do that with Harris, because they haven't settled on a line of attack yet for Harris.
Yeah, they have to. It's a two-pronged thing for them, right? They're going to have to. They've dealt with the fact that they've attacked a woman before, but a woman who's black certainly.
It's much more complicated. It's much more complicated.
And a woman who's not Hillary Clinton, who the entire Fox
baggage.
News didn't need to even do any dirt digging. They had
30 years worth.
30 years of priming their audience to hating her, and it was not just her audience. So it gave people excuses, like the people Sam was describing, to just kind of fall into their misogyny, because Trump also was good TV and promised to break things up.
A Squared.
Well, listen, let me end by saying, Matt, I hear you. We do have to prepare. Unfortunately, these are these times. But thank you guys for your passion, your insights, and staying on this beat. Even though some days it must feel like, especially after this weekend, like, oh my God, what's next? The locust. I mean, it's incredible. These are beyond interesting times. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, A Squared. Great to hear from you. I am in favor of the aliens coming down.
Yeah, did you ever say
Well, Tucker Carlson tells us that they're actually spirits from the hell, I think. So
Did you ever say if this was the worst of those times that you since doing the show in terms of despondency?
I mean,
would 2000 be worse?
Well, I wasn't doing the show in 2000.
Right.
But
2000 was pretty bad, but I will say that the worst was 2004. I mean, that was really, really depressing, because, we were engaged in a war. We were killing hundreds of thousands of people. It was clear that at that point, or at least to me, I mean, even prior then, but even at that point, it's clear there was no weapons of mass destruction. It was a complete lie. And they, Bush was basically going on national television and suggesting that gay people should become second-class citizens, ensconced in the Constitution. That was pretty depressing. But I mean, I think it's also very possible that this election could be equally depressing. So, that's my point. Anything can change. There's no.
That's what's so fun about being in the news business. There's always something new to talk about.
It can always get worse. Folks, Oh, I'll read. Oh, no.
You know, try to encourage people with posts and try to, help them.
All right, I'm going to read 4 IMs and we're getting out of here. 3 Robs Pierre. Not a surprise that Trump was too far right in another important moment in history.
Oh.
Plan Cake. Sean O'Brien of the Teamsters is slated to speak at the RNC after delivering sellout contracts to the membership with wage increases below the rate of inflation at UPS, the big feather in his cap, and a series of bizarre photo ops with right-to-work senators like Josh Hawley to former President Trump himself. What kinds of conversations should we be having as members of a major labor union teetering on a Trump endorsement? I mean, I don't know if he's going to endorse, and I'm open to the idea that unions should be, operating in the best interest of unions. The timing's not great. The Democrats delivered on their pension, on the Teamsters pension. Well, I can't remember what the name of the law was. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow in the wake of his appearing at the convention. I'm not terribly excited about it.
But it seems like the rank and file are not thrilled, and also the Democrats don't want. He was saying, "Oh, I'm open to speaking at both," but the Democrats don't want that. They may not think that he should speak.
My understanding of the rank and file is there's a broader problem where the college-educated rank and file very much Democrat, and the non-college educated rank and file are very much Trumpy, and that's something we with Rust Belt Union Blues. We talked about that, the increasing prevalence of MAGA bumper stickers in union parking lots is not a great trend and needs to be arrested.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.